that welcome was all right, but I'm not sure it was up to par for an A-list celebrity such as myself. I'm sure most of you remember me from my brief stint as a radio star at age 7. But for those deprived of the experience, I'll expand. What did I do on the radio? Well, I starred among the other bright young minds in our amateur improv class. Now I know what you're thinking. Colin, how could your class have managed to shine so brightly among the duds of the entertainment industry? That you, among billions of applicants, were chosen for the honor of being on your local radio station? The answer? I have honestly no idea. My best guess is that the guy in charge of the class had some dirt on the king of radio or whatever, and he blackmailed him into letting us do this. Because it's weird. I mean, a bunch of kids doing terrible improv over the airwaves, nobody wants to listen to that. But as I was reflecting on this experience, years later, all alone in the dark, I realized there's like an 80% chance we did not get put on the radio. They just slapped a fake mic in front of me and were like, "Go out, man!" And went back to their regularly scheduled program where they lock Harry Styles in a box, force him to play the same song every 3 hours, and every once in a while I'll throw him a sandwich like a zoo animal. And even if by some miracle this did get put on air, it was like 9 p.m. The only person listening is the 100-year-old man who never bothered to get a TV and whose grandson isn't around to switch the station. The more I think about it, the more I'm convinced this is a research experiment put on by a group of college students to see how diluted they could get me. Next they would tell me I was going to be a stand-up comedian. Unrelated note, anyone here around the age of 33 and wearing a lab coat? I thought I'd get them that time. Speaking of suspicious individuals I'm always watching out for, who here remembers Among Us? Yeah, I hate that game now. A couple of reasons. My enjoyment of Among Us has been like a perfect bell curve. You start out not really knowing what you're doing. Everyone yells at you for failing your tasks. You're always looking sus for following your friends around. And you figure it out. You're starting to have fun, killing your friends without jail. It's cathartic, really. And then you hit that point. Now at this point you realize the game is not fun. You walk around and do chores until someone dies and everyone yells at each other. This game does not invite the spirit. That's reason number 1, no spirit. And reason number 2 is that Among Us has completely ruined the words Among Us for me. I cannot hear it without thinking sus or imposter. Even just among by itself sets me off sometimes. At this point I've been conditioned like one of Pavlov's dogs. I can't make it through a session of general conference without trying to vote one of my family members off the couch. And you know how everyone in general conference has the voice that they do? It's kind of like how I do a voice when I'm up here. Normally I sound like, but here's a great example. Elder Gong's talk, spring of this year. He gets up there and he's like, "My name is Garrett Walter Gong. I live at 308 Negra Arroyo Lane, Albuquerque, New Mexico. 87114. So I was talking to my pal Jesse the other day. And at one point I brought up how sick it would be to have a dragon, just to make conversation. And he looks me in the eyes and he says, "Colin, I don't know how to tell you this, but dragons aren't actually real." What? Do you know how insulting it is that you think you have to let me in on the fact dragons are not real? You're telling me How to Train Your Dragon is not a documentary? But it has Vikings in it. They play it on History Channel after 12 p.m. You know when people tell you to pray for service opportunities? Whenever I do that, I always expect some big, glorious moment. I see a piano falling from a window, so I dive to save some girl on the street. One thing leads to another, she falls in love with me, I have to turn her down because she's not as attractive as Mater's girlfriend from Cars 2. Rough out there, you guys. You can't tell I am single. Seriously though, why are animators so obsessed with the animal magnetism of inanimate objects? I mean, is it really so important for me to understand that Agent Holly Shiftwell is one of the more attractive vehicles in the Cars cinematic universe? I understand that her curves, shiny exterior, and large arsenal of hidden weaponry. They're alluring to most. But I feel like if I admit it, Pixar will have beaten me. Thank you so much, everybody.